common market spirit is under intense testing and pressure at this particular moment in time. Even before the dust settles between Uganda and South Sudan over grain, we're now hearing of a trade war between Kenya and Tanzania. And as a result, the imports into Kenya from Tanzania have come down by 30% because of this trade war. Now, we'll be discussing that and more in our subsequent shows. It is Money and Markets. I'm Charles Podge, your host. Welcome to the show. It's not an easy run for business at this particular moment in time. And of course, in times like this, you got to spare a moment and do a bit of research and try to understand the environment where you operate as a business person. Now, one of those areas to pay keen attention to are the currency markets, or the exchange rate for that matter. And in this regard, we're picking the mind of one of the players, industrial players, to find out where the currency is sitting at the moment and what can be done to actually make the best of it for those that are in business.
When it comes to, I'll just talk about the currency and maybe just give a little bit background to the population in terms of why currency. Why you talk about currency? Because to them they know that how much Uganda shilling I can buy my product. So why I talk about currency? I would just say, okay, fine. We are still not really producing all the products which is required. The raw material is mainly substantially imported. Yeah. When you talk about steel, steel is actually imported. I'll come to maybe what we have in Kabale maybe later on. But I just tell you that the steel which we consume in Uganda is predominantly imported. So you will find that a good portion of that import is actually in export in the foreign currency. So when you have the foreign currency, you are buying your raw material in foreign currency, and what you are selling is predominantly local currency. Then really what you have there, that's now where the currency exchange rate plays a major role. Because if, let's say, I bought a product at $700, then I sell it at a specific exchange rate, then the currency loses value. It means that I'll need more of the Ugandan shillings for me to be able to pay for the suppliers. So I would say that, okay, fine, we appreciate what the government of Uganda has done. They've really tried to control the movement of the currencies over the period compared to what we have in the region, including Kenya today. We know Tanzania has really been strained. But the Bank of Uganda has really come forcefully to be able to control the fluctuations of the currency every time by mopping either what is there, the liquidity in the market, or maybe playing with the both fiscal and monetary policies to make sure the currency is stable. So we are only just seeing that obviously Uganda also one thing which was high expectation was the sector which we are having, maybe oil and gas, which is really brought in some kind of investors. So that really has stabilized the currency a little bit. The only thing which maybe I do try as much as possible, and I'll keep on urging the government not to do, is that we know what the oil and gas sector does, maybe what happens in Nigeria and all that, where people try to forget about their main productive sector, which Uganda actually, to me, I would say what they have the most comparative advantage in the region is still agriculture. By the time you forgo focus on agriculture, it means that on the side of the demand, you are going to buy more of the products for the food, like what we do in what's happening in Kenya today. And when you do that, it means that the currency will be a little bit stable. So as we actually be able to be appetized on what's happening on the front of the oil and gas sector, we really need to be able to move very fast and even develop it further, what we have in agriculture, which I would say is one of the most comparative advantages that we have in the region. When you talk about the sector is really, I would say that is there's so much over capacity in the market, yeah. Because today, if you look at the major players in the market, okay, we have Uganda Bati, we have roofings, we have MMI. We have so many other players which are there in the market. And obviously today, it's not a question of the manufacturing locally. We are working in East African Economic Dispensation, meaning that a manufacturer in Kenya is also just a player in Ugandan market, just like any other. So really, we don't look at only the capacity that we have. So overcapacity is going to be rife. In fact, it's even going to be more and more competitive in the coming 1 or 2 years. Because if we look at it, we scan what's production capacity which are coming up at the current capacities, we are seeing that almost half of the production that is going to be generated will not be consumed in the market. And now, obviously, price wars actually will start coming in, and losses will come, and obviously the other repercussions which will come when people have come with some kind of load shedding. So if you look at the overall the state of the industry, I think it's going to be more and more fluid. So the only thing that we really need to actually look at is how do we be able to develop the regional markets? Yeah? How do we make sure that the gains that are there in the East Africa community is well embraced? If like South Sudan is not having manufacturing facility, we need to bring them very quickly into the East Africa community under that armpit of what we call CET, Common External Tariff. Because today what happens is that we have members of the East Africa community, they join the East Africa community, and immediately they invoke the provisions of Article 19 of the protocol, which gives them some kind of concession to be able to import the products, same products which are manufactured locally from outside the outside world for a long period of time. You know Rwanda, you know Burundi, and obviously South Sudan, they're all given concessions. And what does it mean? Much as we talk about the bigger market in the East Africa community, you don't harness that market potential because the other players who are there can still be able to import the products without paying any taxes, which is agreed, what we call the CET, Common External Tariff. So I think to me, how do we harness the production? Because population, also the growth is there, of course, but if the consumption, we believe that it's going to stagnate over a period of time against the increasing capacities. What I can say is that Uganda government, I know, has been putting a lot of effort for the players in the industry to be able to harness the iron ore that we have in Kabale. And Uganda obviously is come very strongly, because if you look at the quality of the iron ore that we have, then obviously it's something which with the industry players are already working hand in hand to be able to harness that potential. But I must say, obviously, when you talk about this particular product, there are other, steel is wide. The easiest one which you can be able to use maybe with what you have in Kabale will not be the flat steel. The flat steel, what we use for re-rolling, the quality of the steel that we have for what we produce for making roof sheets is for re-rolling capacity. So basically that one we cannot be able to get it from Kabale. But basically it can be able to do us a lot of good if all the players can be able to marshal their resources to be able to harness the potential that we have. And obviously we'll talk about the import substitution, and that will come in handy and can be able to help what you mentioned earlier, which is maybe stabilizing the currency. So thank you so much.
I will now take a very short commercial break. Money and Markets continues after this break.